One patient was a guy called Leotis Collins, who's a E4 Marine. I forget what rank that is.
Corporal.
Corporal Marine. There it is. And a couple of guys were going to jump me on the ward, believe it or not.
Really?
And Leotis was shot up in both legs. He had casts on both legs. And he was a very highly decorated Marine. And he jumped up, before it happened, he jumped up from his wheelchair and grabbed these guys by the neck and told them what their future was going to be if they laid one finger on the dock. So he and I were really good friends.
Well, what did they have a grudge against you? What did you do? Not give them their ice cream?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I mean, but anyway, there was language difficulties. Like the guys in the deep south there. They would have a language way. So one guy would he had actually a circumcision, done, and of course, it was my job to change his dressing. So it was an area we didn't really know what to do. So we're asking him, what do we do? So he's saying, in his accent, he's saying, get the gall. And I'm thinking, what's the gall? I'm saying, what is it? I got a dressing card here. I'm saying, I'm looking, where's the gall? Anyway, after quite a while, it was the gauze.
Gauze, right.
There it is, So, anyway, but we had some fun times. One of the things that occurred, we had this Navy guy who got hit by a Standard Oil truck. He had three tours in Vietnam, in country, and that usually means you're a little crazy or super brave. Usually a little crazy, and he was on leave, rode his Honda 50, and got hit by a Standard Oil 18-wheeler. Lived,
right.
But he broke a bunch of bones, so he wanted to go home for Christmas, and he was always getting into trouble with the command. So one day he says he's leaving no matter what. So he was in a total body cast, and we saw his name was Hutch. We saw old Hutch walking down the long ward at night. We had this boot camp RN, lieutenant. No, she was like a ensign.
All right.
And she's sitting there watching Hutch, his eyes red and gleaming, mad, walking down side by side like the mummy, and able to walk. I can't figure out how he even got out of the bed, but he wanted out. So he's walking in this total body cast, and her mouth is aghast. I'm on nights, and I'm sort of laughing, and his gown falls off him. He's sort of naked in the areas where he needed to be naked, and when he reaches the nurse, he falls on her. Anyway, talk about funny. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing, That was good. It was really good. That was a highlight of my career. So, anyway, how I ever made it to AVT school, I don't know. But I got to AVT school without, the nurses, without their help. Of course, my marks were really low, But when I got to the school, my marks went up to 4.0, so that was good. So, then I was sent to El Toro. So that was when my Marine Corps tour really began. I was stationed, but I wasn't considered FMF at that point. I was just station personnel. But then I got my orders. After about 3 years in the service, they sent me to Camp Pendleton, which is a staging area for corpsmen to learn how to be a Marine, basically.
Right.
And it was on a place called like Coronado or something like that.
Not Coronado Island.
No. But it was on Pendleton, on the right, on the shore side there. And we would basically hump hills, hike a lot, and learn combat field medicine. They had a little village there called the Vietnamese Village.
I remember hearing about that. It was in San Onofre.
And we'd have to go through these little trails of tripwires without tripping the wires. And I was the company leader actually, and they called me Tank because I was big. And our DI, would laugh because he said Tank's going to be the first one to die in Vietnam. So, and that's Marine humor. And so I got through all the tripwires. And when I got to the last one, this one comes out of a tree and blasts me in the stomach. And this guy's laughing. Oh my God! But Staff Sergeant Ives was his name. Now talk about tough. We humped quite a distance with our full pack, and we're going up a hill. So me and about 5 or 6 other corpsmen couldn't make the hill with our packs on. We're just exhausted. So Staff Sergeant Ives said, "Ladies, are you having trouble?" Yes, Staff Sergeant. He takes all. He already made it to the top. Comes down, takes everybody's pack, dumps it back up. So,
no towing fee for that one.
The Marines are tough. Let's put it that way.
He helped you.
So he helped.
Well, always got to take care of Doc. That's why.
That was it. That was it. That was it. So I was originally stationed to go to Iwakuni with the Marines there, and that was sort of plush because I had a young kid, I was married, I really didn't want to go to Vietnam, and right in the middle of one of our musters, I got the change in orders to go to Vietnam, mainly because they were having a lot of corpsmen get killed. So when that occurred, corpsmen go to the shift orders. So I went to Vietnam with the Air Wing, which was in my favor. But still, I was trained as a combat Marine, to go with line units in the field.
So what unit did you go with in Vietnam?
It was called MAC 11.
Okay.
And I was only in there for 4 months, and kind of a unique thing occurred. None of us wanted to be in Vietnam, believe it or not. I mean, it was not good, and but it was our duty.
Oh yeah,
we had to be there. So what occurred was you could either take 7 days free, what they call R&R, or you could take 2 weeks honest leave and go back to the States. So I was debating, what do I do with my wife? Which is the better way? So, and there was a big lag between when she got the letter and et cetera, and I kept changing my mind. So she didn't know what I'm going to do. So finally I said, I'm going to take honest leave. So the day I went back, that was the day the corpsman detailer, it was in '72, came out to Vietnam. And while I was in the States, I went back to my old chief in El Toro, and I said, "Chief, is there any way for you to keep me here?" He said, "Mark," he says, "what you can do is go down to EPTOPAC down in San Diego and ask them." So I went to EPTOPAC, and I did not know what I'm going to tell you this. I did not know this. They were looking for me to tell me to stay here in the States at Camp Pendleton.
Were they?
So that was wonderful. That was totally wonderful. Wife and I loved it. This is, we should catch you up with some pictures. This is a picture here of when I made E4. This is at Pensacola Naval Hospital. This is when I was a ward corpsman, and I just had all my molars taken out.
He'll be the one in the mess whites.
Yeah.
Right after this picture, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we can catch up on a lot more of your pictures.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.